Peace be upon you, dear 7th graders. Today, الدرس 15 محادثة عن الكتب. Lesson 15, conversation about books. And this lesson consists of two parts. In the first part, we'll listen to a conversation about books and we read the key vocabulary for you. In the second part, I have a nice video for you by Mr. Luke, who will teach you about the most important 20 slang contractions for daily conversation. So after we finish this conversation, you will watch a video about slang conversation. I hope that you will learn them by heart. First of all, let me read the key vocabulary for you. As you can see, culture, the way of life, especially the general customs and beliefs of a particular group of people at a particular time. Please memorize these definitions by heart. Now, the second one, broaden, to make someone understand more and know more about different subjects, ideas, places, etc. Examples in green color. They say that travel broadens the mind. They say that travel broadens the mind. Now the internet can give children opportunities to broaden their minds. The internet can give children opportunities to broaden their minds. Now another word, horizon. The limit of that person's idea, the limit of that person's ideas, knowledge and experience. Now Nepal, a country in South Asia. Kill time, to make time seem to pass more quickly by doing something instead of just waiting. Again, kill time, to make time seem to pass more quickly by doing something instead of just waiting. Example, I started cleaning the windows just to kill time. Now, bookstore, a place where books are sold. Unfortunately, used to say that something is sad, disappointing, or has a bad effect. Example, unfortunately, I didn't have my credit card with me. Now, after we read the key words, the key vocabulary in this conversation, we'll listen and read about this conversation. So, first of all, I'll play for you the button in order to listen, the audio button in order to listen to this conversation. Please listen with me.
How often do you read books?
I read books almost every night before I go to bed.
What's your favorite type of book?
I love reading about different cultures.
What can you learn from books?
Books can broaden my horizon about thousands of things around the world, and books are also my best friends.
Where do you read books?
I read books at home, sometimes in the library.
What's the most interesting book you've ever read?
I think that would be Nepal, a book written about the country of Nepal, published in 1999.
How long does it take you to finish a book?
Well, it depends on the length of the book, but it usually takes me a week to finish a 300-page book.
Do you usually bring books with you when you travel?
Yes, I do. When I'm at the airport or bus station, I read books to kill time.
Is there any bookstore or library in your area?
Unfortunately, there are none near my house. The nearest one is 3 kilometers away.
How often do you read books?
Yes,
I read books almost every night before I go to bed.
What's your favorite type of book?
I love reading about different cultures.
What can you learn from books?
Books can broaden my horizon about thousands of things around the world, and books are also my best friends.
Where do you read books?
I read books at home, sometimes in the library.
What's the most interesting book you've ever read?
I think that would be Nepal, a book written about the country of Nepal, published in 1999.
How long does it take you to finish a book?
Well, it depends on the length of the book, but it usually takes me a week to finish a 300-page book.
Do you usually bring books with you when you travel?
Yes, I do. When I'm at the airport or bus station, I read books to kill time.
Is there any bookstore or library in your area?
Unfortunately, there are none near my house. The nearest one is 3 kilometers away.
Now, after we have listened to this conversation, now you can listen in low speed. After we have listened to this conversation about books and we reviewed the key vocabulary, let me revise with you about question making. So today I revise with you making a question. So the first question, how often do you read books? Again, how often do you read books? And here the question is in the present simple form. And you remember, dear students, we only need to use verb to do in the present form, do, and does in the third person. So how often do you read? And the verb in the base form. So the main verb is in green color for you, while the helping verb is in red. So this is a question in the present simple. So present simple question. Now the answer, in the answer we use the first form of the verb, as you all know. So how often do you read books? I read books almost every night before I go to bed. Now what's? So the helping verb here, what's, okay? What's? And it is the contraction form of what is. So what's or what is your favorite type of books? Here is considered the main verb because it is in the present simple form. So when we have verb to be present, we don't use do or does. Pay attention, dear student. Again, when we have do, when we have is, namely verb to be present, is, or are, we don't use do or does. Now the answer, I love reading about different cultures. Now what can you learn from books? Another question, but here we use a modal verb can. So you remember the modals are can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must. Now here we have a modal verb, and in this case we need the verb in the base form, in the bare infinitive, in the zero form. So here the verb is in the base form, and this is the helping verb or the modal verb. So when we have a modal verb, we only need to invert this verb and the base form of the main verb in the question. So what can you learn from books? The answer, books can broaden my horizon about thousands of things around the world, and books are also my best friends. Now another question in the present simple tense, where? So where, to ask for place, where do you read books? And here you need to give me an answer using a place. So where do you read books? Where? I read books at home, sometimes in the library. And this is present simple question. Now another question using is, or the contraction form, what's, the contraction form of what is. So what's the most interesting book you have ever read? And here you still remember, dear student, here I have the form of the present perfect in the complement of this question. But pay attention, very important note. Here we only invert in the first part. Again, dear 7th graders, we only invert the helping verb in the first part. So we can't have the helping verb in the second part of this question. So we can't say, what's the most interesting book have you ever read? We can't say this. It's an error. It will be an error to say or to ask this question. What's the most interesting book have you ever read? It's incorrect. It's incorrect to invert the helping verb in the second part of the question. So in this case, we only invert the first helping verb. So the question will be, what's the most interesting book you have ever read? And here, ever is used to refer to an action happened at any specific time in the past. So the time is unknown, and so we use the present perfect. Don't forget this form of superlative adjective, and here the adjective is more than 2 syllables. Interesting is more than 2 syllables, so we use most, and before that we use the. So here we have superlative adjective form. Now I think that would be Nepal. So he always read books about Nepal, a book written about the country of Nepal, published in 1999. Now again, how long does it take you to finish a book? How long does it take? Here, present simple, but we add S. We add S in third person. So, how long does it? We need S for singular. How long does it take you to finish a book? Well, it depends on the length of the book, but it usually takes me a week to finish a 300-page book. Now, another question, but here pay attention. It's a general question, basic question, yes, no question. We don't ask for specific information in this case. We only use the helping verb. And if we don't have a helping verb, in this case in the present simple, we only use do. We can't invert in this case. And we don't use WH words. So do you usually bring books with you when you travel? Do you usually bring books with you when you travel? And here the intonation is rising. Again, dear students, the intonation is rising. Do you usually bring books when you travel? But when we use WH word, the intonation is falling. So here the intonation is rising. Do you usually bring books with you when you travel? Yes, I do. Here is a short answer because we don't have WH word. When I'm at the airport or bus station, I read books to kill time. Now another question. And here it is a general question. When I talk about general questions or basic questions or yes-no questions, I don't ask for specific information, so the answer will be yes or no, and it is called a short answer. So, is there any bookstore? Here we are asking about singular. Is there any bookstore or library in your area? Unfortunately, there are none near my house. The nearest one is 3 kilometers away. And here we have finished and revised the forms of a question, and we listened to a conversation about books. And in the second part, I hope that you will listen carefully to Mr. Luke, a nice video, and he will teach you, in which he will teach you about the most important 20 slang contractions. When I talk about slang contractions, I mean informal language, informal expressions, informal words that we speak every day. I hope that you will have fun while you are listening to Mr. Luke teaching you about these slang words that you need to use every day. Thank you very much for watching. See you in another video. Don't hesitate to communicate with me, to contact me between 6 and 8 p.m. for any questions. Thank you so much.
Hello, I am Luke, and I am here today to help you with your English pronunciation and your listening skills. In school, we learn a lot of English, but in the real world, we need to understand slang. And there are lots of slang words in English. Some of the most common slang words that we hear are slang contractions. Slang contractions are used in conversation, movies, television, film, music. We even write slang contractions on Facebook. We use these slang contractions when we're chatting on our smartphones. We hear these even in formal situations. We hear slang contractions. So if you have listening problems, or if you want to speak more natural English, this lesson is for you. Let's talk about these 20 common slang contractions. Yeah, it means you or your. You have good English. You have good English. Your pronunciation is very natural. Your pronunciation is very natural. Number 2, do. We pronounce it with one syllable, not do you, do. Do you like English? Do you like English? Do you study every day? Do you study every day? Do. Number 3, yeah. Do you like English? Do you like English? Do you play baseball? Do you play baseball? Yeah. Moving on. Number 4, ain't. Ain't is Southern English. It's not correct English, but it's common and spoken a lot. So you want to understand it when you hear it. I am not a fireman. I ain't a fireman. I have not seen it. I ain't seen it. I will not go. I ain't going. Ain't. Number 5, wanna. Wanna. It means want to, but we don't pronounce the T sounds. Wanna. I want to eat lunch. I want to eat lunch. I want to go to Harvard University. I wanna go to Harvard University. Number 6, gimme. Give me. It means give me, but we don't pronounce the V. Give me $5. Give me some ideas. Give me 5 minutes. Give me your test. Give me. And number 7, gotta. It means must. You have to do something. I must drink water every day. I gotta drink water every day. I must study English 15 minutes every morning. I gotta study English 15 minutes every morning. Must, gotta, have to. It's the same. I have to get a passport if I travel to Europe. I gotta, I have to, I must get a passport. Moving down to number 8, Kinda. Kinda. It's not the same as kind of. We don't pronounce the F. Not kind of, kinda. And it means a little bit. I'm a little bit hungry. I'm kinda hungry. I'm a little bit tall. I'm kinda tall. English is a little bit fun. English is kinda fun. That's kinda. Number 10. Don't know. Don't know. It means don't know, but we don't pronounce the T. We just say, don't know. Where is he? I don't know. Who did it? I don't know. Those are the first 10. Now, let's talk about the next 10. Number 11, lotta. Lotta. A lot of people know me. A lot of people know me. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of TV. Similar to that is lots of, which means lots of, but we don't pronounce the F. I have lots of good friends. I have lots of good friends. I know lots of different words in English. It means I know lots of different words in English. Lots of. Number 13 is probably the most common slang contraction in English. Whatcha? Whatcha? It means what are you? So if I call someone, what are you doing? Or what you doing? What are you eating? What you eating? What are you thinking? What you thinking? Whatcha? And number 14, also super common, gonna, gonna. It means going to. For example, I am going to eat dinner at 6 p.m. I'm gonna eat dinner at 6 p.m. I am going to study English in California. I'm gonna study English in California. Gonna. Next, we put together whatcha and gonna And we like to say, what you gonna? It means, what are you going to? But we say, what you gonna do? What you gonna do for dinner tonight? What you gonna do this weekend? What you gonna do at work tomorrow? What you gonna? What are you going to? Number 16, what a ya? What the ya? 3 syllables. What are you? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you planning? What are you planning? What are you drinking? What are you drinking? What are ya? What are ya? Next we have did ya. Notice the D and the J. Did you? Did you eat breakfast? Did you eat breakfast? Did you practice for your exam? Did you practice for your exam? Did ya? Next we have where'd ya? Where'd ya? It means where did you? Where did you learn good pronunciation? Where'd you learn good pronunciation? Where did you study English? Where'd you study English? Next we have how'd ya? How'd ya? It means how did you? How did you get here today? How'd you get here today? How did you find my YouTube video? How'd you find my YouTube video? How did you learn such good pronunciation? How'd you learn such good pronunciation? How'd you? Number 20 is gotcha. And this, it means I got you. It means yes. It means okay. It means I understand. For example, your teacher says, I want your paper by Friday. You say, okay, got ya. Yes, I understand. This shows that you understand the order. Gotcha. And if you want, put one of your sample questions or try to make an example sentence with this new language. Put your example sentence into the chat box, into the comment box. I'll have a look at it. If it looks good, I'll give you a thumbs up. If we need to change something, I'll help you out. Okay, that's 20 contractions. I hope you guys have learned something today. If you want to see my next YouTube video, please hit the subscribe button right here on YouTube.